How's it going, everyone? Today's a very special day for me because I have finally decided to release a clothing store. It's going to have a mixture of bbrights designs, various different colours and designs of the bbrights logo. It also has designs that you can see on screen, the Confidence hoodie and some other music related ones, and just anything based around EDM, raving, just nice sleek designs that you can wear with confidence and just cool designs to wear. So on screen you can see some of the designs I come up with. I'm going to be adding new designs daily to keep the content fresh, so every single day I'll be adding at least 1 or 2 designs, so keep on lookout for that. If you go on my channel, there's a tab on there now which says store, so you can check on there, and also just underneath my description of my videos you can see it's linked there, so you can go check it out on the store. If you want to check it out, it's teespring.com/bbrightzclothing. So check it out if you're interested. If you buy anything, tag me on Instagram, I would love to see it. I hope you can join me on this next chapter. Without further ado, let's get on with the video and have a wonderful day. What's good, people? It's Lewis bbrights and I am back for a brand new video. Today's video I'm working on part 3 of my progressive house from start to finish. In this episode we're going to be working on the break a bit more, starting the build up and potentially adding a vocal. I'm not entirely sure what vocal I'm going to add. We'll figure that out later in the episode. But yeah, the main thing for this episode is to start working on the build up and mainly work on this emotional section here. But as usual, we're going to play through what we have so far to refresh everyone's memory. Then we're going to get straight into it, so I hope you enjoy and let's see what we have. So that is what we come up with in the last 2 episodes. As you can see, I put a fruity balance on the master just to boost the dB up so you could hear it better. Obviously we're working on quite a low dB, and that's all good for mix down and mastering purposes. So initial thoughts for hearing it again for the first few days. I definitely want to change this pad. It's definitely not fitting for this style of progressive track. And yeah, we just need to work on this emotional section a bit more. I'm going to add another set of strings and violins, potentially. Yeah, which just needs to be a bit more atmospheric, a bit more reverb, and of course we want to add a bit more ambience with effects, maybe add a bit of rain. Yeah, we'll continue with that. So straight away I want to start by replacing this pad. I don't want to bore you with this. I'm just going to make an edit because I don't want to keep rechanging stuff and lengthening out the video for no purpose. So I'm just going to find a decent pad. I'll show you what I'll find and choose, and then yeah, I'll speak to you afterwards. I changed 2 simple things. I changed the pad and I changed the guitar. It's very nice. Sometimes if you come back the next day and listen to your production, you might hear some things you want to change. It's all natural, nothing wrong with that. So I changed the guitar to this one. The only thing I'm going to do is add a sound gradizer just to beef it up a bit, and then of course I changed the pad to this one here, the very mellow ones. If I just turn the cutoff up so you can hear it, obviously the higher the cutoff, the more energy and white noise, high frequencies it carries, more energy. So we're using this as more of a mellow one. It also helps in the emotional section because it covers this warm frequency here. The only thing I'm going to do is copy the bass notes here, and we're going to just put them down 1 octave. So we're going to do that. Hold shift, click, control down on the keys, bass notes. And then we don't want them blurring right away, so we're going to make this pattern a unique, and we're going to delete these ones. So then it will come in. Oh, that very nice. And of course the new guitar with the piano sounds like this. The next one I'm going to add is a Reese bass. I know a very nice one inside Spire. Default preset is called Bass Kung Fu in the factory preset 1, so we're going to use that. According to Reese bass, use the same blue to select factory, this one here, and then there's a preset called Bass Kung Fu. very nice. We're going to call this Rees bass, about the capital A. There we go. And we're going to go into the pad, this one here. We're going to copy these bass notes, Control C to copy, go into this pattern, right click, piano roll, Control V to paste. It's too low of an octave, so put it up an octave. It fills it up very nicely. You could use a normal bass guitar, that also adds more emotion. If you use more acoustic sounds, or acoustic guitar and bass guitar, stuff like that, that gives it a more human feel. But if you use the Rees bass, it mixes the emotion with more of a festival sound and more of an emotional sound, so it's a perfect blend. So Revealed Recordings recently released a Revealed Radar acapella set, so it's some acapellas from their Revealed Radar free download track. So I'm going to use one of them. I don't want to be playing it too much because I don't know if it will copyright the video. It's called Revealed Radar Acapella Pack Volume 1. And it has 10 acapellas from 10 of their songs. So we're going to go through some of these, see what some of them sound like, and then we're going to try and pick one and add it to the track. We might have to pitch the vocal. If we have to pitch the vocal too much, we're going to change the key of the song. We may pitch the song up 1 or 2 or down 1 or 2 semitones, because you don't want to pitch a vocal too much because it loses the main emotion it carries. So we're going to go through some of these acapellas and to see what it sounds like. So we're going to start with number 1 here. Bearing in mind they're all 128 and we're working in 126. There's going to be a lot of cut and chopping here because I'm going to have to stretch them to the track, stuff like that. So don't mind the editing, and we're just going to go through these quickly and see what they sound like. As you can hear, this one here by Max Landry called Tomorrow. We have to pitch it down 4 to get in the key of our song.
What are you waiting for? No one's gonna live this life for you.
And it doesn't carry the emotion it used to from the original. Obviously the original key was this. I'll pitch it up back to the original.
What are you waiting for?
Completely out of key, doesn't sound nice, so we're going to go and continue. That's number 1. We can't really use this one because you can hear underneath there's a vocoder.
And you are afraid I'll come to your aid.
There's more of a talkbox vocoder underneath, so that's carrying the chord progression, so again we cannot use this one. But this one sounds actually really good. I like the emotion to it.
There's something in her.
Something I look out for vocals is the pre-drop vocal is very important to me, so this one has a very, very nice one.
We are here and we're alive.
And you can just hear it dropping straight after that moment, so as you can see, it fits in perfectly in line with this our current structure we have. So we're going to go with this one. Like I said before, we're going to have to try and figure out a mix between how much we can push pitch in the vocal, and if it's too much, we might have to pitch the track, which is no problem at all. It just takes an extra bit of time to pitch. So if it's any more than 2, I'm going to pitch the song rather than the vocal, just because I don't want to ruin the quality of the vocals. So this is a perfect example. We have to pitch this down 5 semitones to reach the key we're in. And it's way too deep for the vocal. It doesn't sound good. So we're going to meet in the middle. We're going to pitch the vocal up to -3, and that sounds like this.
We are here and we're alive.
And then we're going to pitch the actual piano up 2 to G sharp, so now it sounds like this.
There's something in us that keeps us going on.
So we pitched it down to G sharp minor. So if I was to play it with A minor.
There's something in us that keeps us going on.
It sounds really nice, but there's just, like I said, I'm not a big fan of working in A minor and progressive tracks. Festival, big room tracks and hardstyle tracks, A minor is a really, really nice key to work in. It's just for progressive tracks, it doesn't really work for me. It's just a personal preference. We're going to go with G sharp minor, and it still carries that nice emotion. So without wasting your time, I'm going to pitch up all the sounds and get it all in key, and I'll speak to you afterwards and we'll see what it sounds like. Finished pitching up all the sounds. Like I said, I don't want to play it too much because I don't know what the copyright will be like on this song. Even as a free download from Revealed, they still copyright and claim people's videos if they use them in their songs. So I don't want to play it too much, but this is what it sounds like now.
There's something in us that keeps us going on. There's something out there that tries to take us on. It's alright, give it time. We are here.
And if we was to add the melody, of course we've got to pitch it up too. This is what would be like a representation of the drop right here.
We are here and we're alive.
That's an idea of what the drop will sound like. That's the melody. It fits really nicely, so we're good to move on. We're going to mute it for now, work on the track without it, and yeah, let's see what we can come up with now. So next I want to add some rain from the Kashmir Volume 2. I do this in pretty much every track I do. It just fills it up nicely, adds that more nice ambience to the track. So it's in Kashmir Volume 2, effects, ambience, natural, and then rain. I always do this. We're going to do that there, and then we're going to loop this 4-bar section. Control B to paste it. Then we're going to automate these first 4 bars, of course, to make it yellow from our OCD. But it doesn't seem to have added the effects in. With the rain, I'm just going to add it in right there, sure, 44. With the rain, I like to boost the around just under the 3K, around the 3K mark, just because it makes it a little more brighter. And like I said, we're going to automate this first 4 bars, and it'll slowly come up in volume like that. And then we're going to drag this and hover over like that. I think we're going to leave it as it is so far and just start working on the build up, just because the actual main structure is there, the main core sound is there for the break. We don't want to spend too much time on that. We're going to go to Nicky Romero. So we're going to go into the build up drum section here. We're just going to stretch this to 126, reset the pitch, and then maybe just turn it down. A lot of automation in the build up. In the past, I have bounced something out in the past from my previous songs that I've made. I don't know where it might be. It might just be in bounced files. This thing right here. And there's another thing. I think it's called, it might just be trap snare. There you go, right here. So these are the 2 things I use in my tracks quite a lot. Of course, again, they're in 128, so we've got to stretch them to 126. If we turn on the stretch mode, we could just do this manually. And just do that. There we go. And I'm turning the out knob up of the snare, so the volume slowly goes down, because you want the build up to be quieter than the drop. There's like some techniques you can do with volume automation and slowly dipping the high end with EQ on just in the build up. When the drop hits, it hits a lot harder. My sounds on the top, drums in the middle, effects on the bottom. That's my main structure. That's the way I work. And for now, we're going to mute these sounds, and I'm going to do some automation on the main Nicky Romero snare. We're going to copy this value here. We're going to bring it back like that. Right click, create automation clip. And now we have the value that I wanted. So we're going to right click and click P on the keyboard to paste, or you can just right click and click paste value there. And then that will slowly come up like that. Now we're also going to add a small reverb on there. It's going to be a room reverb, so Fruity Reverb 2, not delay bank. There we go. Right click, drum room reverb, turn up the low cut, turn up the high cut to 10k, and we're going to have the decay time at 1 second, bring the wet down, make an automation clip of the dry to where the last 4 bars, it will slowly come down like this. Perfect. Now with the track, of course we're going to do some automation with all the sounds as well, because there's a lot of bass. So the next thing I think I want to add is the kick break here. In the first episode I mentioned I want to have a very soft kick. You hear it in a lot of progressive house tracks. It's just a very thumpy kick, just pumping underneath. You have sidechain compression underneath, sidechaining all the sounds. So I think we're going to go into, get that kick punch. It's one I use sometimes. Sometimes I make my own, sometimes it's easier just to use one like this. And for this tutorial we're going to use this one here. So of course it's going to sound awful like this because it's going to be clashing with all the bass. Especially the Reese bass. Doesn't sound nice at all, so we're going to add it into the mixer and we're going to put fruity limiters and everything. I've showed a tutorial on how to do this before, but basically using sidechain compression, so it's basically the kick is the trigger of the sidechain. It's nothing like LFO2 or Kickstart or Wave Shape or anything, nothing like that. The kick is the trigger, so when the kick plays, there's sidechain in playing. So the way to do this is to the things you want to sidechain. For example, we're going to sidechain the Reese bass first. In the slot we're going to add a fruity limiter, go to the compression tab, turn the threshold down to around -20. The lower the threshold and the higher the ratio, the more aggressive the sidechain. So usually I go around between a -20 and a -30 threshold, and the ratio is usually between 1.5 to 2 to 1. So 1.5 to 1 or 2 to 1. So we're going to go 2 to 1 for now. Go to the kick, which is this section here. Go back to the channel. At the bottom you see an arrow pointing up. We're going to right click this, click sidechain to this track, go back into the channel, click on the fruity limiter, right click the sidechain. As you can see, you see the thing we linked, which is the soft progressive kick punch. And now long behold, there's some sidechain. So we're going to lower the threshold a bit more to around 22. -23 should be the one. Yeah, and what we're going to do now is click the arrow down, click and hold save preset as. We're going to drag this on all the things just because we want the same settings of the sidechain as the bass. So what we're going to do now, the good thing with this is once you right click the pad, for example, we're going to right click sidechain to this track. Because we copied it from here, it will automatically select the kick in the sidechain trigger. So we don't need to do it every time. And of course we're going to do it again. So we're going to go to save preset as, click and hold and drag it so you can see it moving. Drop it on the next one, make sure it's on the bottom, go back to the kick, and we're going to repeat this until we're done. Now we've done that, the only thing I haven't done it for is the Atmos, just because if you hear it, it's very, very subtle in the background. There's no reason to sidechain that, and if you do sidechain it, it may drown it out so you don't hear it at all. Everything else I have sidechained to the piano, the strings, the pad. So now it sounds like this. Going to boost the low end on that. I'm also going to boost the low end on the Reese bass here. Don't be afraid to boost the low end. It gives you more bass. As long as it's not distorting, you're perfectly fine. And now obviously in the next episode we'll start adding more drums into the break, but that's the main thing I want to do for the break. That's a core element of the break. So now we've got that out of the way. The next thing I want to add is just a small choir into the emotional section, just to get this a bit more atmospheric. We're going to open up Nexus, and in the categories we're going to go into strings. Hopefully there's a... I think Hollywood Violins is the one that's grabbing my attention, so we're going to copy these MIDI information, go to pattern 8, Control V, Control C. I'm going to lower these. all that, I'm just going to keep it quite bare bones. I'm pretty sure in this one we used the for strings preset for the string section because it is for strings. So on this one we're going to use the S1 stereo imager from Waves. It gives a more authentic stereo enhance. Gotta make sure this isn't too aggressive once it enters, so we're going to lower these again. I told you I spent half the episode lowering stuff, so apologies for that. This is what it sounds like in the mix. I'll mute everything. There we go. And one more time I'm going to see what it sounds like with the acapella.
It's alright, give it time. We are here, we're alive.
They're sounding very good. I might add an extra reverb onto that because this vocal is processed already with all the reverb, compression and delay. But I may add an extra reverb onto it just to give it a bit more atmosphere itself. But now we can just rename these violins and we are good to go. I'm going to add this one again on the second 4 bars. I'm also going to go into the revealed sample pack because they have some very nice sweeps. We're going to go to effects tools and uplifters, and these have some very nice sweeps. Just clean white noise sweep, something is just simple, does the job. We're going to put that into place there like that, and of course white noise sweeps can be incredibly loud, so always be prepared to turn it down. We go to downlifters. And of course add a simple white noise downlifter too. Turn it down again. And we're going to add an impact here, so we're going to go into, again we're going to go into Cashmere because he has some nice sweep impact. But if you didn't know, if you highlight it, hold shift and then use the scroll wheel, you can manually place stuff very specifically like that. And then that will sound like this now. And of course all these impacts and that are clashing with the low end of the sounds. And obviously I said earlier we're going to do a lot of automation. That'll be in a later episode because that's a long process doing all the automation. And the last thing I want to add is a few risers. The riser I have in mind is this one right here. This one right here is a very nice one. Just in case, we're going to fit it to tempo, BPM 128, just so it's in tempo. This is a 16 bar riser, so we're just going to come back to here. And we're going to turn up the in knob so it fades in a lot. I've also added this one here as well, but that's we need to pitch this to the same key as well, of course. Delete the rain, delete everything that's on here. Of course, we'll leave this one because that's a nice reverb tail. So I think I'm going to leave this episode here. We've done a solid amount today. We've added the kick drum, replaced the pad, added a new guitar, worked on the build up. And it's sounding a lot more progressed now. It also added the vocal, changed the key a bit, gives it a different feel once you change the key. In the next episode we're going to continue the build up and then we can probably get started on the drop synths and start on to get on the juicy part of the track. But yeah, I'm going to leave this episode here. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, help the channel grow and I really appreciate it. In my last video I done a W&W tutorial, and in that video I done a deep voice tutorial very similar to W&W. So that's going to be my next video on how to make a deep W&W cinematic voice via festival track. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that one. But yeah, other than that, I hope you enjoyed. Stay safe, produce music, and I'll speak to you all very, very soon. Take care.